So, time to talk about safety. I know, not another safety meeting. Um, but no, we have some serious stuff to go over. The first thing, of course, is safety comes first. So, before speed, before convenience, before even the customer asking you to, you have to first consider your own safety. Okay. Everybody wants to see you at the end of the night. Make sure that happens. Okay. So anyways, there are certain PPE that are mandatory in certain situations, and one of those is like handling chemicals, bodily fluids, animal waste. Sometimes that's you're just going to run into it. So anyways, also know your physical limits. If the customer wants you to vacuum underneath a coffee table and it's huge or too heavy whatsoever, know your limits. Okay, don't do it. Say, I'm so sorry, I can't do that without getting hurt. Um, so, on the same token, I like to tell customers to, in Sun City, to not lift anything heavier than a sack of potatoes. And that, is really up to the customer, whether it's a 5 or 10 pound sack. So anyways, know your limits. If they can't do it and you can't do it, we can get somebody out to do it. Um, if something seems hazardous, stop and call, please. I don't want you to get hurt out there. Okay. So there are some required PPE. Not all these are required, but just some basic things to keep in mind. I've got an example here, so everybody knows how to use these, but latex gloves. If you need some that are not latex, let us know. We can get you some that aren't. Be mindful of any allergies that you might have. So another thing that is important here, another thing is the face mask. I know some people have made this into a controversial thing, right? Whether this works or not, I don't care. This is about your neighbor. This isn't about, efficacy. This isn't about anything aside from being a good neighbor. Some people, this makes them feel better, plain and simple. Okay. If that's what my neighbor needs to feel better, I'm more than happy to put this thing on. Um, but there are other needs for masks, right? And one of them is, it's the reason they created them in the first place. So this is an N95, right? When you're dealing with, chemicals, or working around, um, you know, uh, any situation where you don't feel like breathing that material in, we have these N95 masks, and those will actually give you some protection above and beyond, feeling good about it, right? Um, anyways, we also have some other PPE, which would be safety glasses. I'm going to show you. They're super cool. Everybody loves them. What do you think, right? So the time when you might want to wear these is when you are scrubbing something or spraying chemicals or, anything that might be getting in your eyes. These are OSHA approved. So those will keep your eyes safe. Okay. Don't hesitate to use them. They actually don't look bad, do they? Right. Um, anyways, sometimes you might need long sleeve arm protection. Sometimes that is because of temperature. Sometimes it's just because you might be handling harsh chemicals, right? So long sleeve versus short sleeve. Um, anyways, safety glasses, long sleeve shirts, closed-toed shoes. Okay, these are important, right? These right here are actually specifically for safety, right? They have anti-slip at the bottom. And they're water resistant. So, if you step in a puddle or you end up spraying something on your shoe, it's not going to get your sock wet. Your day won't be ruined. Okay. So a couple things that I would like you to try and be mindful about would be of just simple safety practices, right? Wash your hands, please. If you're changing tasks, use some hand sanitizer, use soap and water, because you got to keep in mind you're taking those germs and all that yucky stuff and then going on to the next task, right? So I would actually recommend gloves and washing your hands, right? So think about the scenario, right? So you go and you clean the toilet, right? And then you get up and you go start cleaning the faucet, okay? water comes out of that faucet. Maybe they're brushing their teeth in the morning, and now you've just infected their drinking water with, basically sewage. Okay. So, when you're changing tasks like that, you're done cleaning the toilet, pull off your gloves, put them in your garbage bag, and then put on some new ones if you want to help protect your hands. It's just a matter of, being mindful. One environment to the next, you can actually make it less sanitary. So anyways, being mindful to do that. Check for hazards when you first get there. And still, even with the gloves, be sure to wash your hands, guys. That's really important. There's something that I learned when, Katie was just born. And basically, when you wash your hands, you want to rub them like that and count to, just sing the row, row, row your boat song until it's over. When you're done with that, rinse them off. Okay? Proper way to wash your hands. Check for hazards when you get there, right? Make sure there's nothing that's going to trip you as you're working. Make sure there's no broken glass. Make sure there's no animals laying around that might, get you, or, angry looking dog, whatever it may be. Just make sure you identify what hazards they are and report anything dangerous, okay? That's really important. Let's see, what else do we have here to go over? Be careful lifting, right? So, don't try and lift things that are too heavy for you to lift. You're not going to be a hero if you can't go and help the next people, okay? So be sure with chemicals and stuff like that, label them properly. But of course, what we do, because everybody doesn't need a set of different shaped bottles, we label them, okay? And we refill these with the bigger packages of them. But I'll get into the cleaning agents here in a little bit. Use ventilation, right? If you're using harsh chemicals, open up a window, put on a fan, do something to make sure you're not breathing in that air. If you know you're going to be working with a lot of degreasers or harsh chemicals, come prepared. We have fans that will shoot that air straight out the window, okay? So bear that in mind when you go to pick up your equipment, when you go to ops. If you know you're going to be working with that heavy degreaser or something like that, pick up a fan, bring it with you. Again, clean and dispose of your PPE. When you're done with a mask, right? If it's to help an old lady feel better, you've been spitting in this thing, so throw it away, okay? When you've been working with harsh chemicals and this is actually for your protection, you're done, throw it away, okay? These things aren't worth a ton of money. So anyways, just bear in mind that, PPE isn't important, and, a pro tip to just kind of elevate your perspective is that the client appreciates you wearing PPE, right? It shows professionalism. It shows and reassures them that you understand it's their home, right? And you're taking their health seriously. And that is so important when we're working in some of these retirement communities, okay? So please be mindful of that, and I appreciate you.